right, welcome everyone to another episode of the Steem Radio Show here on MSPWaves. My name is Ma1ne. I'm here once again with my co-host Poetic Snake. How you doing, Snekky?
Good evening, Maine. I'm doing at the moment.
Yes, Poetic Snake is a little bit under the weather this week, folks, so we may not hear a lot from her tonight. But welcome, Poetic Snake, and certainly we hope you feel better soon.
Oh, thank you. I'm sure tomorrow will be a better day, right?
Absolutely. Well, welcome everybody to the Steem Radio Show. It is May 2nd, 2018, and we are live here on MSPWaves Radio, which of course is part of the Minnow Support Project. You can find out more about the station at MSPWaves.com. There's a full schedule now on there of tons of different radio shows from people who are also posting on the Steemit platform. So it's all people from the Steem community, so check it out. What we do here on this show each and every week is we feature people from the Steem community. We learn more about them. We find out how they found their way to the Steem blockchain and just kind of get their opinions and thoughts of what they think of it, what they're using it for so far, if they're blogging or creating content or what have you. Some of them may be Steem witnesses or community leaders. We've had a wide variety of people on the show from all over the world, and we certainly welcome you to join us as well. So if you're ever interested in being a guest here, certainly contact myself, Ma1ne. It's spelled just with a number 1 in there instead of the I. And or contact Poetic Snake.
Yeah, you can contact me.
And you can find us on Discord, of course, and you can find us on Steemit.com. So you can see the usernames right here on the live stream and on the video if you're watching after. And certainly check us out if you're interested, and if you want to be on the show, we'd be happy to talk to you. We are chatting also during the broadcast on Discord, and we are in the Peace, Abundance, Liberty server on Discord, which is the home of the Minnow Support Project. And you can find us today in the MSPWaves audience chat room. And a big shout out to everybody who is in the chat right now. I see a few people. I see Johnny Clearwater out there, Soy Rosa, Morkrock, Stacy Jean, Grims out there, Kodaks, who just finished up his show. So Wednesdays is certainly a busy time here on MSPWaves. There's shows before ours and after. And so check out the different shows. So shout out to Kodaks and Clayboynes out there. Princess Mew Mew, who is going to be on shortly here as our first guest on the show tonight. We'll also be joined tonight by Crazy BG Adventure, coming up later in the show. So yes, big shout out to everybody who's tuning in on this Wednesday night. It is just after 6 p.m. here on the east coast of the U.S. Snekky, you're in the Netherlands. What time of day is it where you are?
It is 3 minutes past midnight.
So it's late for you, but if for some reason you miss any of the show tonight, or if you want to go back and listen to previous episodes, you can find those right on my blog on Steemit. And they're, of course, YouTube videos, so you can go back and watch previous episodes or listen to them if you'd like. And as I mentioned before, we've interviewed a variety of Steemians, all different experience levels. You know, some of them, it was their first week or two on the platform, all the way up to people who have been here now for a couple of years. So wide variety of different people we have on the show from all over the world. It's typically an English-speaking show, because unfortunately that's the only language I can speak. But
Really?
yes, it is. Unfortunately, I need to learn some other languages.
I can learn you a few Dutch words.
Right. So again, if you're listening out there and you want to share your Steem story sometime, certainly get a hold of us, and we'd be happy to have you on the show.
Absolutely. And don't be shy or tell us that your story is not interesting enough, because every story is. And we certainly love hearing every single story, because every journey on the platform is different. So come on, don't be shy. Send us an inbox.
Absolutely. We're going to do our quick little disclaimer here to start the show, so I'm going to play that, Snekky, all right?
Yep. You are listening to the Steem Radio Show on MSPWaves. Everything you hear on this show is our opinion only. and should not be taken as financial advice or advice of any kind. This show is strictly for entertainment purposes only. MSPWaves Radio and its owners take no responsibility for the opinions or statements made by the talk show host or their guests. Statements or show topics are not necessarily the beliefs of the radio station. The material on the Steem Radio show is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's the most important thing. Always do your own research.
All right. So, hope everybody's having a good day today. I know there seems to be a wide variety of sentiment on the platform lately. Like some people are feeling kind of the Steam burnout that we've talked about before, and then some people are really energetic, because the prices have gone up a little bit recently and things. And of course, who knows, when you're listening to this, they'll probably be back down again. But the sentiment is, it's like a riding a wave, on the platform. There's always a variety of different feelings going on the platform of where people think we're headed and everything. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what kind of topics come up tonight on the show. And, if you guys ever have suggestions for topics that we should talk about on the show, certainly let us know. You can always post in the comments of the show posts that we put out, and give us some feedback if you think there's some different topics we should bring up on the show, things like that. Because it's a big ocean out there here, this Steem community and this Steem blockchain. There's a lot to learn. There's a wide variety of different, I don't even know how to put it. It's kind of like its own little subculture thing, where you kind of got to learn what type of etiquette is kind of good on the platform, what kind of content seems to be well received, and so there's a lot to learn. So certainly let us know if you ever think things should be talked about, or different topics or things like that, and maybe sometime we can kind of do an open forum of people asking questions and things like that. What do you think of that, Snekky?
Oh, I kind of like that idea, and I have to be honest. I've always almost been here 2 years now, and I'm still learning. Because everything is it keeps changing, and that's a good thing, though. But learning is, you never stop learning, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, again, welcome everybody to the show. I see a few more people jumping in the live audience chat, so welcome to everybody. Great to have you here with us. We are here every Wednesday night from 10 to midnight UTC time, which is 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're just joining us, or whatnot, for the very first time, that we're going to be here each and every week, hopefully, from that time. So certainly join us here on MSPWaves.com. All right. Well, I think it's time to bring our first guest on the show. Why not, right? So,
yes,
Princess MSPWaves, if you're listening right now, I hope you're ready, because we're going to bring you here into the live on-air room. So hopefully she is ready. Here we go here. Let me see if I can do this. Move to. There we go.
You got the power.
Princess MSPWaves, can you hear us?
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Certainly wonderful to have you here. And tell us, if you don't mind, where in the world are you this evening? What country are you in, or what part of the world are you joining us from this evening?
Okay, so I'm actually on the same time zone as Snekky, but I'm in Africa. I'm in South Africa. I live in Cape Town, but yeah, it's past midnight here as well.
All right, joining us from South Africa. Welcome to the show. And how long have you been on the Steem platform so far?
I joined in June, so it's almost a year. I think it's about 10 months at the moment.
All right, and so almost a year. Same for me. Once later in the month of May here comes around, I'll actually be hitting my 1 year mark here pretty shortly. So been here about the same amount of time. And what brought you here in the first place? Do you remember how you found out about Steemit or the Steem blockchain?
Ferraris.
Ferraris.
Yeah, I saw a video of Jeff Berwick and he was like talking all about Steemit, and actually my husband had been on since earlier the year before actually, and he hadn't really done anything with his account, and then I saw a video about some dude who got a Ferrari and I was like, okay, I've got to do this. So yeah, Jeff Berwick, Ferraris, and I suppose to be more honest and a little bit more serious, I was so tired of Facebook and really looking for another alternative way to communicate with other people and meet like-minded people.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of people do find their way here with that kind of state of mind. They're kind of maybe just, had enough of other social media platforms and they just want to try to reach a different audience or just experience something different. And do you feel like once you got here that you found something, kind of like what you were looking for, or what's been your opinion of joining the platform?
Wow, I have so many opinions.
Well, just kind of from since you joined, like, how did you feel in the early stages, kind of leading into it?
I must tell you, I was really excited. I remember actually before I joined Steemit, I had already deleted my Facebook because I hated it so much and I was literally depressed. So when I joined, I was very excited. Like, I'm a very sociable person and I love meeting people. So I was so excited. I think I was very newbie and I was like jumping on everyone's post going, oh my God, where are you from? I'm from South Africa, and being like so silly. I must say my first thoughts and my first few experiences, I was really excited about the way that people were talking honestly about things that mattered. Like, there's people who were talking about vaccination and religion and everything that you just don't normally talk about on Facebook, and I really enjoyed that. And I also had just started buying myself some Bitcoin then, and it was also a really good, like, call it education into the world of crypto. So yeah.
All right. And before you joined, were you someone who, was a blogger or a content creator, or have you more or less become that since you've joined Steemit and the Steem blockchain?
I suppose you could say that. I did attempt to have a blog back on, what was it, blogger.com, like in 2008. But I've always liked writing and I've always wanted to write. So I suppose Steemit definitely opened that up for me. And actually, my main interest is food. And I used to have a coffee shop. And since I've had Steemit, I've actually really discovered that I love writing about food and I would love to get into food styling.
Okay, that's cool. Tell us more about that then. What types of things do you like to post about, or things that you find, useful or good about being on the Steem blockchain?
So I really like doing food posts. I work in an antique shop, so I do a lot of that kind of stuff. Like, I'll do, because it's not really anyone else doing it, so I don't know if people find that interesting, but yeah, I post about that kind of thing. And what was the end of your question? Sorry.
So have you found, I'll kind of rephrase it, but basically, has it been beneficial for you as far as, inspiring creativity, kind of inspiring you in general to just do more things? Have you had any kind of experiences like that?
Oh, for sure. So like, I've always really enjoyed writing, and I must say I met GMAX and I actually met everyone in MSP at the beginning of June last year. And I met GMAX and he had told me that he had started the writer's block, and I was so inspired. And I was like, I've always wanted to write, and I did write a little bit, but I never thought, oh, I'm good enough for anything. So I put a few of my short stories through the writer's block with GMAX and Rhonda, and they were so kind and so helpful, and they helped me a lot. So I actually have written 3 or 4 short stories since the beginning of the year. So it's definitely helped me like that. And something else is that I basically view, now that I've become a Steemian, I view everything as content. Like, I'm terrible. Like, I go to restaurants and I take photos of my food, but I'm really into food. So I could say it's a passion now.
I'm into food too, so maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that.
For sure. You're from the Netherlands, right?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Ah, okay. I was trying to figure out how you knew what I was saying earlier.
Oh, the lekker.
Yeah, because a lot of people, because in South Africa we speak Afrikaans, which is very similar to Dutch. And yeah, I thought you were German.
No. I can totally understand it when you speak Afrikaans. So yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So about the food, I really love doing like classic food, like rustic food. I like that kind of food, but I also like to reimagine it into like more healthy or even vegan. I'm not vegan, but I do like to take food, like for example, a cottage pie, which is a total classic, and then turn it into something healthy, like maybe replace the potato with like cauliflower, and like I like to take classics and reimagine them into something very new age.
Yeah, that's really awesome. There are a lot of different things you can do with food. I mean, it's certainly a fascinating subject. I like to cook as well, and it's cool if it's inspiring you to maybe, do you look into different types of food now that you're thinking in it, like you said, in a way that it's kind of like content now for maybe blogs or pictures or whatnot? Are you branching out and trying new foods and things like that now?
Oh, for sure. I really enjoy finding food from different people's countries. So like every time I meet a new person, like I helm them. Like I made friends with Crypto Craze. He's from Pakistan, and I'm like, you've got to give me a recipe. And I like irritated him so much until he gave me this awesome recipe, and I learned a traditional Pakistani dish. Was so cool for me.
Yeah, no, and there are certainly lots of different ways that you could do food type blogs too. You could do recipes that you found, or that or different creations, or even just the way you present the food is fascinating. Some people are super creative with just the way they present food, the way to make it look, and things like that. So it's certainly a fascinating subject.
You're so right. And something else I've learned is I'm always one of the people who I might not care so much, like I can plate my food pretty well, but I don't really care how much it looks or how it looks, as long as it tastes good. But then I was joining a contest that Progressive Chef was having last year, and I learned that you've got to make your food look good on the internet because no one can taste your food. So you've got to make it look beautiful.
Absolutely. Again, we're visiting with Princess Mew Mew right now on the show, so if you want to find her on Steemit, you certainly can under that username. Poetic Snake just shared the blog link in the chat room. And of course, if anybody in the live audience has questions for her as well, certainly ask away if you'd like, and we'll let her decide, of course, which one she wants to answer. But if the audience has any questions for the live guests, certainly let us know. And you are listening to the Steem Radio Show here on MSPWaves. We welcome everybody to the show. I'm seeing more people joining us here in the live audience, so welcome. And let's see here. So what types of food do you like? Like, what are some of your favorites? And maybe even like what's your favorite, like, say, main dish type of thing? And then I'm kind of curious, what would be like your favorite dessert?
So I have a crazy sweet tooth. It's like I actually think I might have like a problem and I need to go to like chocolate rehab or something. So, like anything with chocolate. I love dark chocolate. And my favorite kind of cuisines, I love Asian food. So like any kind of Thai food or Chinese, or I love sushi. I actually just made sushi for the first time a few months ago. But I also like classics. Like I love a good steak and potatoes. I would say I'm very, very open to learning every kind of food that there is. But mainly, I will say I love the Asian style food.
And do you find Steemit a good place to post about food? Like food posts, do they do well?
You know what? I think that there's a really great foodie community actually, and that was one of the things that in the beginning when I joined, I got really quite bummed because I would put like 4 hours into a post and get like 1 cent, like I think everyone did. So I was really like looking for ways to make new friends because I realized that Steemit really is about connections and your interactions. And then I joined a lot of food contests and I made so many friends that are foodies, and I think a lot of the foodies all support each other, which is really awesome. And there's definitely a cool community here. And there's also a really big vegan or like healthy eating kind of community, which I enjoy. Like I said, I'm not a vegan, but I love the food and I love eating vegetables and stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely think there's a huge community here. And I think the posts do pretty good if you are supportive of your other foodies.
Right. And I mean, of course, we always have to throw in there results will vary. You know, no two people are going to have the same experience with their content. You know, so while you may see one post doing one really well, another post may not. It's really going to depend on the person and the content and the, you know, a lot of different factors there. So, you know, again, as we always say, do your own research. But no, that's the biggest thing about Steemit that I think people, it would be cool if this message could reach some newer people early, is that networking and, you know, making friends in the community and actually talking to people and, you know, leaving genuine replies on people's content, those types of things are really important, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I must say, I do, like I said earlier, I do look at this as like a social kind of interaction thing. But at the same time, it is crypto. So I do view it kind of as a business. And one thing I did, and I would recommend it to anyone who's starting out, I set myself a schedule in the beginning and I would try and post like 3 times a week. And then the other 2 nights of the week, like Tuesday and Thursday, maybe, I would spend the whole evening finding people that I enjoy, follow them, comments, and network. And what I always tell newbies is like, you can't run around and just comment on everyone's post randomly. Like you got to go to, for example, you got to go to someone's blog and then you got to keep returning to their blog and seeing what they're doing. And then eventually they will see, hey, this guy like commented on my thing like 10 times. I'm going to check out their blog. And it's like a constant relationship. You know, it's like in real life, you don't walk up to someone and be like, hey, here's my book, man. Like you're like, hey, I'm Ma1ne. Like, what's up, man? Like, you want to chat? Or, you know, you got to approach people like how you would in real life.
Yeah, it's certainly a different culture here as far as just the networking aspect of it. And like you said, trying to just be personal with them and actually, you know, leave some genuine comments, not just, hey, here's my blog or whatever and a link. You know, that doesn't work well on this platform in our opinion. So,
Follow for follow.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's yeah. I don't even know how to put it into words necessarily, but just don't do that. You know.
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like you were saying, you like that food community because it seems like people, you know, actually talk to each other and they comment on people's content and you have an actual community aspect of it going there. And that's such an important thing about being here is, I mean, I'm doing this radio show with you two and we're all three of us in various parts of the world right now. And that's so fascinating to me every time because it's just amazing that we've all found these connections because of the Steem blockchain. You know, if we hadn't joined this platform, we would never have spoken to each other, you know, and it's really fascinating how all these people are coming together and they're all mostly very creative, you know, fun-spirited people for the most part, it seems like. Of course, you're always going to have your trolls and negative people around, but I mean, for the most part, it seems like a pretty good community we have here, and people are genuinely supportive of the content.
Yeah, I totally do agree with you. And something else that I've like I'm from South Africa, so I mean we don't have a good currency. We don't have the same kind of economy that you guys do in the States. And what I love about Steemit, it's like my absolute favorite thing, and I tell everyone about it, is how someone in Nigeria or like South Africa or Indonesia or Venezuela, for example, they could make a post and maybe the post does quite good and they get like a 30 SPD vote. That's like, I think I worked it out with a friend the other day. 30 SPD is literally more than minimum wage in Nigeria is. So it's really changing the way money is viewed and it's changing the way people earn money. And that's why I love it so much.
I see some questions. There's nothing wrong with being negative either. Sorry, M1. When I mentioned not many negative people here, but we welcome all kinds, right? It seems like here, so that's a good thing. So the variety is always good. So I just wanted to say that. And again, of
For
course,
sure.
if anybody has questions for Princess Ma1ne here in the live audience, I don't know if I've seen any specific questions for her come through yet. You didn't notice any, Snekky, did you? I don't think, anyway. Let's see here. But yes, if anybody does have questions, feel free to let us know. And Princess Mew Mew, I mean, if you have other posts that you want to talk about or projects that you're working on, or just we always also give people a chance to do some shout outs and things like that. So if you have any other Steemians that you want to give a shout out to, but yeah, just, we'll kind of hand the mic over to you if you want, and if you just have any things you want to mention while you're here on the show.
Cool. I do have a few things, and I also see someone is asking me my favorite punk rock group, and obviously that would be like Rancid, because I'm totally punk. And Soy Rosa is asking about the antiques business. I buy and sell antiques, and we custom make chandeliers for super amazing, huge hotels, but that's my day job. Here on Steemit, I am part of Exactly. It's an amazing community, and I do the curating. Me and two other people in the Discord, we have every day we go through every single post that's tagged with Exactly, and we find our post of the day. It's our little way of giving back to the community. I'm also one of the editors for the blog. Exactly is a community where a lot of, I don't know how, it's like, it's a whole bunch of different people, and we're all in like this one group, and the whole aim is just to get to know different people from all walks of life. Mainly the focus is on cryptocurrency and that kind of thing. A lot of like focus is on decentralization. And so, yeah, sorry, I totally lost my train of thought there. But yeah, I mean, we're part of this. And so I do a lot of the curation and the writing for the blog. Yes, that's my point. So the blog is a whole bunch of different writers. There's like 20 different writers who contribute to that, and I do the editing and helping with that as well. So it's something I'm pretty passionate about.
And that's with Adzactly, right? You said.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, exactly.
And that's spelled ADSACTLY, if anybody's curious about that. I recently started chatting in there a little bit as well, and it seems to be another good community here on Discord for people from the Steem community. It's amazing how many different communities have now sprung up on Discord now because of the Steem blockchain. It's really amazing. I myself am in like a dozen different Discords, it seems like, at any given time.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know even how many I have on the side of my Discord. I actually had to go through like some of them and go, okay, I'm actually not contributing to this one. I'm quickly going to delete it. So yeah, it's amazing. And it's like, if you want to talk about crypto, you can go to that group. If you want to talk about food, you go to that one. I've even been invited to a fashion one, which is like super interesting.
That Sweeney guy says only a dozen. I'm not sure. It might be more than 12. I'm not sure. I know there's a lot in there, and they are very helpful though. All these different communities, like Adzactly, the Minnow Support Project, so many different ones. They're communities where you can at least go in and network and talk to different people. And most of the time they're okay if you want to ask basic questions and things like that. Of course, no one here's an expert, but I mean, someone can at least try to point you in the right direction to something to help you. And there always is that, just kind of that community aspect as well. Let's see here. And let's see. Somebody wants to know more music-related questions. Are you a big music fan?
Oh, for sure. I love music. I was actually on Pensive. He has this show called what is it called? My Life in 8 Songs, and I did this whole thing with him where we like broke down my life in 8 songs, and it was so cool. I really enjoyed that, and I think the majority of my songs were pretty rock and roll, it was cool. There we go. Wax got it. An autonomous, decentralized society acting cooperatively to leverage you. So that's basically what Exactly stands for.
Yes.
I never knew that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a mouthful.
It is, but to be honest, the concept is pretty simple once you get to know what's going on. It's not super crazy or anything. It's just, various like individuals that are coming together to kind of, find each other and find business to talk about and find a common ground.
Yep, and let's see, if anybody's got the Discord link and they want to share that, feel free in the MSPWaves audience chat room. If I see we got a couple folks here from Exactly today, so if they want to drop the Discord link, feel free. And what other things are you doing on the platform, Princess Mew Mew? Or is that probably keeps you pretty busy? I'm sure just doing those things.
It does, but I do have other things that I'm
Okay,
busy with.
okay.
Actually, through exactly, I met an amazing guy. I already mentioned him. His name is Crypto Craze. He's from Pakistan, and he's such a nice guy. He's really amazing, and he on his own developed an initiative to help people or student university students mainly to learn to speak English and to how to trade in Bitcoin and to use Steemit. And so I joined forces with him. I really don't do much. He asked me if I'd like to help him, so I do. But yeah, I'm involved with that too. And basically, it's just to get people in Pakistan speaking English and using Steemit.
Well, that's really awesome. Any way to try to help people out is really a good thing, and that's one of the great things about this community is there's so many people out there creating projects like that are trying to help people.
Yeah, I think that's I must say, one of my favorite things about Steemit. Like, there's that guy, I think his name is Crypto Pie. He has the bone disorder, and I just see him saying in his posts sometimes where he's like, he is so depressed, and Steemit has helped him get through the day, and like people donate money. And there's actually someone in the audience, his name is Aziz. He has a school in Bangladesh, and he helps through Steemit. He teaches little children and he provides them with food, and all through Steemit.
I also believe that the people who are on Steemit are more eager to help out as well. If you look at other platforms, the reactions are not always that positive. And here on Steemit, it's just off the charts. And I really, really enjoy that.
Yeah, you're so right. And I've actually thought about this before and wondered why it is and what makes it different. Why is Steemit different? Why are people more, why do they care? Not that they care more, but why are they more inclined to help on Steemit? Like, what is it?
Yeah, I wonder about that as well. I mean, you can talk for yourself and say why we are doing it, but I also wonder what that is, what makes that different, and I never want it to stop.
Yeah, it's awesome. You know what I think is also cool with Steemit is that it's like this old saying, like you can teach someone to fish instead of feed him the fish, So they'll be able to fish forever if you teach them how to use Steemit, or if you teach them whatever, they can do it for themselves instead of depending on other people for whatever. And what else is also for me pretty cool is you don't have to give them physical money. You can just give them an upvote. Like maybe you've got a upvote that's like 50 cents or it's $1 or whatever, and you can give that to them. You don't have to do anything else.
Yeah, it's just a simple click on a little button, and every cent helps, I believe. So, and what's one vote,
Exactly. You're so right. I actually I found a few people that they just weren't doing very well, and their post was so good. And I think it's just a lack of English, I think, is one of the main problems, and they couldn't communicate what they were trying to say properly. So I've actually made friends with like a few guys who they don't speak English so good, but they really put so much effort in, and I always upvote them because I just think like they're trying so hard, and why not? Why can't I upvote them? Why can't I help them out?
Yeah, and it's a lot to learn. It's not easy figuring out how to even make it onto the platform, and then once you're here, learning how to do your posts, and just there's a lot involved with it, and it's a big learning curve. And like you said, there's a lot of creative people out there who are trying their best, to navigate these waters, and sometimes it is challenging. But I would say, kind of stick with it if you can, and don't be afraid to ask for help from all these different people in different communities. Many of them, just like the Minnow Support Project and many others, are great places for you to go and at least learn and network and ask questions and things like that. And helping other people. There's a little bit of discussion going in the audience, as to kind of maybe why it is that this, Steem blockchain community seems to have a lot of people who are just more inclined to want to be helpful. But I don't know if there's really a right or wrong answer for that. maybe it's just excitement. People are excited to be here. They're in a good vibe. They're in, for the most part, and it's fun, and it's fun to see the results of helping people too. Things like that. When you see these posts of these communities that are doing things like starting, I've seen sports teams being created and all these random things because of Steem, and it's really fascinating.
Yeah, it is. And it's cool, I think the whole thing with people being so helpful is that like for people like you and me who've been on here for a while, and like Snekky who's been on for almost 2 years, it's really cool because you know your way around. It's like being in high school again, and you're like the senior, and you see the little kid in the passage, and you're like, oh, that guy's not doing so well, let me help him out, because you were also there once. So it's cool to be able to help, I think. And also there's a lot of knowledge, like you said, there's so much to learn. And why not share that knowledge? Like, why keep it for yourself? Like, let's share the knowledge. And that's my favorite, one of my favorite things about Steemit.
And that's a good analogy, actually. And so hopefully most people who have been here for a while and are experienced are more inclined to be helpful and things to, newer people. And if you're a newer person, we were talking about this kind of earlier too. Like when you talk to someone in person, you don't just run up to them and say, hey, follow my blog, upvote me, or whatever. That's not the first words you would say to somebody coming out of your mouth. You got to try to talk natural to people, be genuine. Don't just spam links everywhere and all that kind of stuff. I see a lot of newer people doing that type of thing. And I think even when I first started, I may have been guilty of that too. Not being a spammer, but just, saying like, hey, could you check out my blog kind of thing? Because I didn't know. I didn't know what you were supposed to do here. And it is quite a learning curve, as I mentioned before, but just being genuine with people, joining these different communities, and actually talking to people and things like that will do so much more to help you than just posting links or whatever, or asking people to follow you.
I think most of the people who just join make those mistakes, and even I did when I joined. When I started here, there was not something like Discord where you could ask people questions. And if you come from another platform, you are, bound to do what you know to do, and things are different here. And I think that if you give them a nice guiding hand, and instead of shouting at them right away, just a guiding hand can do so much. And I think that it's amazing here on Steemit. People are eager to help and don't mind giving that helping hand instead of, just going, bam, you're gone.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I've had loads of people inbox me and they don't even say hello. They just send me the link. And I must be honest, most of the time I ignore that because I can't be bothered. If you can't greet me, then, but I have then in some circumstances said, hey, like, how are you? Why are you just sending me a link? Why don't you just say, my name is this, whatever. And, I do have some people who say, wow, sorry, I didn't realize. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to definitely help you. Like, let's do this thing together. But first you must learn to say hello. And it's like Main Event was saying, you just got to be courteous and like, have your normal everyday manners about you.
But, just to put this out there too, of course, some people like being anonymous, or they like being someone slightly different while they're online. Hey, that's your prerogative, that's your business. But just be respectful is what I would try to say,
Yeah, for sure. Actually, that's also one of my favorite things about Steemit is very few, I will count it on one hand, maybe 5 people, and that's people I've been friends with for a year now, know my real name. I like the anonymity of it. I try to keep everything, I don't know, I like to post about food and antiques. I don't get too personal, too serious, because I do like no one really knows who I am, and you can make friends and stuff, but it's still very anonymous, which is awesome.
Yeah, I think it took me a year before I start people telling my real name.
Yeah, I think I literally started like this year maybe, and that was with people who have been talking with me for a long time, and they're like, hey, by the way. But in real life, but in like a life other than Steemit, people do call me Mew Mew anyway, so it's not such a big adjustment for me.
I have the same problem.
You're also Snekky?
Oh yes.
Oh, that's so cool. I know why do they call you Snekky?
I started writing fiction stories about 8 or 9 years ago, mostly about snakes. So that's where it comes from.
That's cool. That's interesting.
Scary stories, that is horror. Not fitted for. I started doing that on Steemit, but there was no audience for that right back then, so I stopped sharing that here. And now I'm just being a cute little Snekky.
Yeah, well, whenever I see you around or whenever we've chatted, I've always seen Snekky, and I'm like, it's such an adorable name. I don't see anything scary about that.
Oh, it's a cute name, I think.
Yeah, I love it. I saw that somebody was asking about my favorite food, South African food, and I definitely have to let you guys know that in South Africa we braai, which is our word. It's basically a translation of barbecue, and you cannot come to South Africa and not braai. Exactly, you got it there, Snekky. It's basically the best barbecue. I can't even say barbecue, like best braai of your life. We will pour you some good drinks and you'll sit by the fire and we'll just talk crap, and it's just amazing. And the food is pretty good.
And huge pieces of meat, right? You don't do the little pieces. It's like almost a whole pig, right?
A whole pig? Yeah. Well, I mean, for example, we were at a family braai on Friday, and you can braai tofu, and there's nothing wrong with braaiing vegetables, activist blog. But yeah, we do a lot of meat. South Africa is a very meat-heavy country. A lot of the times on the braai, you're going to have like a steak and a pork chop and a lamb chop. And like you can't go anywhere without having a boerewors, which is directly translated a farmer's sausage. It's like a very thick herbed sausage, very similar to like the German sausages. But yeah, a lot of meat, a lot of potato salad, and a lot of coleslaw.
Oh, all this food talk's making me hungry.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's like 1 a.m. I want to go get a midnight snack.
That sounds like a good plan.
All right, so we are chatting with Princess MSPWaves here on the show tonight. Certainly wonderful to have her here with us from South Africa. And Snekky just shared her blog post one more time here, or the link to the blog on Steemit. So you can certainly check her out if you're interested. And any last questions for her before we say goodbye? Snekky, I don't know if you had any other questions or anything either. But if anybody in the audience has any more questions for Princess MSPWaves, or if you had any shout outs you wanted to give before we say goodbye.
Favorite Rancid song? Oh my god, how do you choose? So like I'm super into the early Rancid, which is like the, you know, like the early 90s, and like Ruby Soho and New Dress, and what's the other one? I don't know, there's another one I really like. But then Tim Armstrong did all his solo stuff, and then the transplants came out, so I can't even choose. It's really difficult. And am I cooking in my house or my husband? My husband, he makes pizza on Fridays, and sometimes, he makes pizza on Fridays. And then I do the rest of the cooking.
Oh, pizza on Fridays.
Yeah, he makes this fucking really good pizza. It's like hand rolled dough made from scratch. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
'n Brannes en beer of 'n sletsappie en wynbokkie. Oh, Breeze, what's up? I don't drink any of those things. So basically, she asked me if I'm a Brannes is like brandy and beer, and then I don't know actually what is sletsappie. Oh, that's like a brutal fruit or like a lady drink. I drink gin and tonic, or actually I don't really drink a lot, so maybe a gin and tonic.
Any more questions? Feel free to ask. We still have a little bit more time here, so if anybody does have any more questions, feel free to ask. Of course, we'll let her decide which ones she wants to answer. Let's see.
Yes, to Grim. Yes.
Yeah. Let's keep it family friendly, everybody.
What is my favorite pizza topping? I really like just a very, like if you have really good base, like when my husband makes it, he makes the dough from scratch, and then we just have a really good tomato sauce. I don't really put a lot on. I like it more simple, just like some mozzarella, Maybe I put some garlic and some onion, maybe some ham.
Pineapple?
Oh, girl, no.
See, I don't do the pineapple on pizza either. I love pineapple, don't get me wrong. Like fresh pineapple is amazing, but I just can't do it on pizza. I don't know why.
Yeah. No, I can't. I can do banana, but I can never do pineapple.
Banana.
Wait a
And
minute. You
what
do
is...
banana on your pizza?
Yes,
But no
banana.
pineapple?
No. Banana and bacon with garlic.
I don't know. I haven't tried that. I haven't. That's interesting. Everybody in the audience is chiming in on that one. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that
Yeah.
one, but
Oh, good.
yeah,
That Sweeney guy is on my side. He loves pineapple on pizza too.
yeah.
No,
I'll eat
I
it.
can't
It's
do
just
that.
not my favorite, but yeah. Oh, Joe, that's funny. All right,
Um,
everybody. Well, if let's see, any more questions or Princess Mew Mew, like I said, if you had any other Steemian shout outs you wanted to give before you leave or anything, if you had, anything like that.
I do actually. I suppose you could call it a shout out, but like I will tell you who I love. I love reading. Every day I go and check out Big Tom 13. He's a little bit older than me, shall we say, but he lives in Yuma in Arizona. I love reading his stuff. And then there's also Bronco Fan 99. He lives in Canada and he's a school teacher, but he loves writing about sport. I love reading his blogs. And of course, I love to read my husband's blogs, but his name is Mork Rock, but they are very political and he's very opinionated. So that's I like to read his stuff. And I love Battle Axe. Battle Axe is awesome. And who else do I like? I mean, there's so many people. There's so many good people out there on Steemit. That's
Sure.
I don't know. You could never list all the people that you should be reading.
Yeah, we certainly, there's always somebody you'll say, "Oh, I forgot so and so." But yeah, no, just we always try to give everybody that chance, to give a few shout outs here. It's always good to hear about some different Steemians that we may not have seen before. So people can certainly check out those names. But Princess Mew Mew, we certainly appreciate you joining us tonight on the show. Poetic Snake, did you have anything else you wanted to add before we say goodbye?
Well, to ask or to add?
Either one.
I wanted to add that I really enjoyed hearing you talk about everything that you do, and I'm looking forward to whatever your future plans are here on the platform. And thank you for being on the show with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I must tell you guys, like, I don't know. I suppose I'm a little bit awkward in person because I am. I suppose that I have all these ideas and I don't always want to share them. Like you guys know what it's like to talk about Steemit and Bitcoin to other people. And so when I meet other people that I can connect with on Steemit, it's really amazing. And I'm really grateful that you guys invited me here and I totally enjoyed it.
Absolutely. And if you have any, parting words for the audience that you want to say before we let you go, feel free. If it's just anything else you wanted to mention here before we say goodbye.
For sure. So that, yeah, like Activist Blog says, thanks for repping it. Like I can't tell you how much these guys have literally changed my life. Like they are such amazing people and it's this amazing community. I met crazy people through it. I actually met two people who live in Munich that came over to South Africa. I met them. And there is one more person I want to give a shout out to. And I mean, you could call this a shameless plug, but Aziz, he's in the audience. Aziz BD, he's the guy who does the school for, I think it's called the School for Steemit or something like that in Bangladesh. And he puts these like 10 or I think it's 20 little children through school. And it's all because of Steemit. And I love to support his charity. So that's one thing. And the other thing is, I would say, don't get despondent if you're new. It takes work. Like you got to post often and you got to interact. Don't get tired and don't get, I can tell you, I've cried because I didn't do well. And yeah, don't get despondent. Carry on and just keep on keeping on, and interact is my one thing. You got to interact and you got to be constant and your content's got to be good. You can't shit post. Don't do that. And I don't like plagiarism and I don't like bots. So those are all my thoughts on Steemit.
All right. Well, we certainly appreciate you joining us today. Again, that is Princess Mew Mew, and you can find her on Steemit under that username. Poetic Snake has the link for you all in the live chat. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much for having me.
Yes, thank you for being with us.
Thanks, Snekky.
All right, everybody. So that was our interview today with Princess Mew Mew, and it was certainly wonderful to have her here on the show. And everybody can certainly check out her blog. They're sharing the link to the Adzactly server there in the chat. So if anybody's interested in that project as well, they can certainly check it out if you're interested. All right. So Snekky, are you here with me?
Aye, aye, sir. I'm here.
I know you're not feeling that great this week. We certainly hope you get well soon.
Me too.
And you are listening to the Steem Radio Show here on MSPWaves. I go by the username Main Event here on Steemit. It's just spelled with the number 1 in there instead of the I. And I'm here, of course, with my Poetic Snake co-host.
Yes, I'm here with you.
And we certainly appreciate all of you tuning in. And we are here every Wednesday night from 10 to midnight UTC time here on MSPWaves.com. And that is 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern time. And we do share the audio recording of the show as well on my Steemit profile. So if for some reason you missed any of the show tonight, or if you want to go back and listen to previous episodes, each and every week, as soon as the show's over, I do a show post where I feature the audio recording. So you can always check that out. We appreciate your feedback, so you can leave some replies on those posts as well. Let us know what you think of the show, any suggestions or anything like that. We always appreciate it. And, of course, we always appreciate a good re-steam or whatnot as well, so more people can find out about the show.
Yes, that is what we want, right?
Absolutely. And, of course, as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, there's multiple now. I don't even know how many different shows there are on the station now, but I know I thought I heard something like 30 different DJs now or something.
Ooh, that's
so
really
it's getting crazy. There's a lot of different people now doing shows, and it's wonderful to see. So certainly check out the full schedule. It's on MSPWaves.com. And so it's certainly wonderful if you could check that out. They're all people from the Steem community. They're all people who are here. They're posting on Steemit, they're working on projects, and they're also doing shows on MSPWaves, which of course is part of the Ma1ne Support project. So that's certainly a wonderful community you can check out as well. Find it right on Steemit. It's at Ma1ne Support, all one word. And there'll be a link to the Discord server if you haven't checked that out yet. And that's a wonderful community where you can go and network and socialize with people and kind of learn as well. So check that out as well. And again, that's the home of MSPWaves Radio, which is what you're listening to right now. And it's wonderful to have you all here with us. Appreciate the kind words in the audience. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yes, they are loving your voice.
Yours as well, Snekky. Everybody loves the Snekky voice. It's sad that you don't feel well this week.
I don't know. Being sick has his perks at times.
That's true, I guess. All right, everybody. Well, we're getting closer to the top of the hour here. We do have one more hour to go here on the show, and we're going to have another live guest coming up in just a moment. But first, while we have some people here in the live audience, why don't we go around the world, Snekky, if you don't mind? And we'll see, if you don't mind, just type the country that you're listening from in tonight, if you don't mind. We'll see where everyone is.
Don't use the flags. Just write down the country names, because I can't read flags. I see Bangladesh and the US. South Africa, the Netherlands, VA, USA. I am from the Netherlands as well. Where are you from, people? Mars. I would love to be on Mars. the state of Jefferson, USA, South Africa, US of A. A lot of people from the US of A. Nigeria, Wales and England.
All right, did you make it through it, Snekky?
Yeah, but not everybody typed down the countries. It was a little
That's
list
okay.
today.
That's okay.
Canada, that flag, I know, sorry. Got a little bit excited.
It's just kind of fun to see, the different places around the world that people are listening from. To me, that's still amazing. Like, all the connections we're all making with each other, all over the globe. I mean, I'm here in the United States. You join me each and every week from the Netherlands. We just had a guest from South Africa. I mean, we're spanning all over the globe here tonight.
Yes. Oh, and I just got... Wales is not in the UK. Not England. Huh? I'm confused.
Separate things, I guess. That's what they're saying.
Oh, I did not know that.
But thank you to everybody who is listening tonight. We've got a nice crowd here in the live audience chat. Wonderful to have you all here with us. This is the Steem Radio Show. And again, What's that, Snekky?
Oh, I was just saying you said this is the Steem Radio Show, and I said, on MSPWaves.
Absolutely. And of course, if you're tuning in for the first time and you're enjoying this and you'd like to be a guest on the show sometime, or you don't have to be tuning in for the first time to be a guest, but we're always interested to talk to you, especially, if you got a project you're working on, or, if you're a Steem witness or something like that and you want to talk about that. We're always curious to hear about the different things that are happening, kind of behind the scenes with the Steem blockchain, so certainly let us know. Or if you're just, a content creator out there as well, we're certainly happy to talk to you. Or if you're a brand new Steemian out there, new minnow, we'd be happy to have you here on the show and talk to you. So just send myself, Main Event, or Poetic Snake a message on Discord, and we'd be happy to talk to you.
Absolutely. I always enjoy meeting new people this way and learning about them.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's go ahead and bring our next guest onto the show if they are ready. Crazy BG Adventure, are you there?
Hello.
Welcome back to the show. You are a returning guest. This is your second time here.
That's absolutely right. It feels like a century since it was last year. And it was only, a couple of months?
It's been more than a couple of months, I think, because I think it was last year. I think it was in 2017, and we're now in the month of May here. So, I think it's been at least 6 months or so.
Oh my goodness, it feels like so much longer than that.
Was it before I joined?
It might have been, actually. I think it was one of the solo interviews I had to do. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think it was the early days of MSP.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, it's certainly great to have you back on the show, and remind our listeners whereabouts in the world you are this evening.
I am in Bulgaria.
All right, wonderful. So joining us from Bulgaria. And how long have you been on the Steem blockchain now? It's been a decent amount of time for you.
It'll be the same as you and Princess Mew. I joined in June last year. So I've been on the platform about 10 months.
There's a whole bunch of us that all joined last year, like from May to July, right in that 2 or 3 month range. There was a ton of people, it seemed like, that all joined right around that time. So it'll be kind of fun this spring and summer, seeing all the 1 year anniversary posts that I'm sure people will do and things like that. A lot of us have been here now for about a year. That was a big chunk of people that all joined around that time. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. We're definitely boomers, without a doubt. There was, like you say, there was quite an influx over that time, even though not a lot was really happening, money-wise, until December. But it was good to see other people joining.
Absolutely. And what brought you to the Steem blockchain in the first place? Do you remember how you found out about it, or what brought you here?
Yeah, I was doing another job at the time, and a friend of mine got on Facebook and said, "Oh, there's a platform that you can blog and you get paid in cryptocurrency." And I didn't really know what cryptocurrency was, but writing was definitely an avenue that I wanted to go down. So I was like, "Oh, cool! Well, I'll take a look." And then that's how I joined. I mean, sadly, the person who had invited me no longer participates, and that's fine. But I kind of stuck around and tried a little bit more, and that's how I got started.
And so now you've been here for a year. What about the Steem community or the Steem blockchain is kind of keeping you here?
Well, what actually happened was probably October to January, I took a 2-month break. There were things kind of going on outside that I needed to be away from. What kept me away, from the platform. So I became active again from January this year. And it was really good because in that 2 months that I was away, when I came back, people still remembered who I was. They were like, "Oh, hey, crazy, how you doing? Where you been? What's happening?" And in that 2 months, a lot changed. There were a lot of changes on PAL network. There was a lot of changes on MSP. So much had gone on in 8 weeks. It was incredible. And even compared to when I first joined, because when I first joined on the platform, there weren't that many communities. There was only PAL on Discord and maybe one or two other small ones, but nowhere near as big as where it is now. And I don't even think there were maybe half as many people in PAL as what there is now in comparison. So the change has been immense. It's been absolutely immense.
Yeah, it's come a long way. I remember last year when we were first joining, we still had the blue banner on our profiles. There was no profile background pictures and, all these fancy things we have now, right? And like you said, the communities have all evolved from when they first started a year ago. And things like that, and it's a good thing. Change is good, and it seems to be progressing in a good direction. In my opinion, what do you think?
I agree. Overall, I think that there's a lot of people got some really good ideas, and there's some amazing initiatives that are going on, and I'm seeing so much good, come out of it, and that it's not what makes me happier, and it might sound a bit wrong in what I'm going to say, but that it's not all about the money. I mean, the rewards is a nice part of it, but it's what the rewards can do, which is nicer to see, and to see the happiness it brings and the lives it's touching. It's just a phenomenal thing. And it's even more amazing that it's us, the people that's doing it, and not the authoritative figures that, are in the world countries of today. It's us, the people that are doing it and making the changes.
Absolutely. And what types of things do you like to create now that you've been here for a little while, and I'm sure you're doing posts and things like that? What types of things do you like to create on Steemit?
Well, the initiatives that I started, I didn't start until this year. So there's three main initiatives that I've got going on at the moment. The first initiative that I set up was a tag that I'm trying to get trending on a weekend, because I made the decision around about February this year that I was going to go full time on the platform. And that was a big decision for me to do. And one of the things I noticed that was when I was doing work on a weekend, the platform was really quiet. Discord was really quiet. Nothing was happening. Nobody was talking. So I got the idea of doing an initiative called Shout Out Saturdays. which basically is just a tag. And what the purpose of Shout Out Saturdays is that people actively go out to look for new people that they wouldn't normally speak to. So to encourage people to do or look for fresh content from a person that they wouldn't normally have looked for. And basically to find between 3 and 6 people of these people within a week. And it's not a curation, so it's not the shout out about the post they're writing. It's the shout out about them and why they're so good for the platform. So that if they're doing it every day and writing a little bit about them every day, that when Saturday came along, they would have another post. So they've got content for a Saturday and they can put it out there and basically give it some people know it as SOS or Shout Out Saturdays. And then they'll put the Shout Out Saturdays post tag on there. And it's been running now for a month and a half. And it's really good because once or twice I haven't been able to do it for whatever reason. But I'm coming back and I'm seeing people are doing it, without me encouraging them to do it. They're doing it all on their own, and now it's taken on a life of its own. So it's really good because what it does is it gives the person that's getting the shout out a bit of credibility, especially if they're a newbie, which might be something what they need, just to build them up, give them a bit of self-esteem, a bit of confidence. And at the same time, what it's doing is it's showing that how active you are in the community and all the amazing people that are out there that you're managing to speak to.
Yeah, I think that sounds really cool. It's a fun way for people to, like you said, kind of give some props and some credit to some people that they see out in the community doing good things. And that could be a variety of things. It could be creating content, it could be helping others, it could be just being a good friend, being, whatever. As long as they're being helpful and a good member of the community, yeah, they could give them a shout out. And I think that's really cool. So what is the actual tag on Steemit? Is it Shout Out Saturdays? Is that the tag?
Yeah, Shout Out Saturdays with an S on the end.
Okay, awesome. Well, we'll certainly have to check that out. I always like finding out these new, projects like this that people kind of collaborate with, and it's fun to see those posts that are a regular, every week kind of thing too. I like those because it kind of gives you something to look forward to.
Absolutely, that's it. And I mean, the point of it was because with it being a real lull on the weekend and everybody wants to catch up with what they're doing, that it's a post that can go out where these people might get a little bit of rewards. It's a fun thing. It's not like you've got to go out and do a whole load of research. It's just doing what you should already be doing, which is finding good content, talking to people, getting to know them, and sharing either the people or sharing the content. So it's nothing new. All that I'm doing is I'm just wrapping it up and parceling it under a tag.
Well, I think that's really cool. And so tell us again, so are they supposed to pick, is there a limit really of how many people they can pick for their post? You suggested like 5?
There's not really a limit. I mean, if the person's got enough time, they could do 100 if they wanted. The reason I just said 3 to 6 is because some people might feel a bit overwhelmed to do 6, so 3 might be a better number of them to be able to engage with. But if they wanted to do 6, that's absolutely fine. If they wanted to do 10, even better. It really, really doesn't matter. But if it's done the way it's supposed to, then my idea would be that it would bring the community just that little bit closer, and people, saying all the amazing things, like the people getting recognition and, making new friends and more engagement and everything. I can't see it being a bad thing.
No, definitely. I mean, and like we were saying, it really could be for anything. I mean, they could be creating content. They could just be doing simple things, just being friendly, you know? So, and it's a great chance for people to talk about others and gives other people the spotlight. And I think that is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a fair few of us doing it. If you want to find the posts, just search in the Shout Out Saturdays, and you'll find an abundant amount of posts there now of people who are just now just making it a regular thing, and they're just going out and doing it. As Shadows Pubs just said, the main thing is just do it, and that's it. Just get it done. Just do it, and watch and see what happens, because it's such an amazing thing that's happening.
Absolutely. Again, let's Shout Out Saturdays is the tag on Steemit. If somebody wants to put that in the chat, feel free. So that's really cool. Yeah, no, I'll certainly have to check that out on my Saturdays, because I agree that it seems like, of course, people are doing other things on the weekend. They might not be online as much or whatnot. But that's something kind of to look forward to on a Saturday. So that's cool. You missed one letter in there, Snekky.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's okay, Snekky. We're on the other side of the world, and it's the early hours of the morning, so you're forgiven.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's a really cool project. We're visiting with Crazy BG Adventure right now here on the Steem Radio show. It's wonderful to have you all here with us today. And are there any other things that you're doing or things like that? Any other projects that you want to talk about or anything while you're here?
Yeah, well, I've set up a community as well. So I've got my own Discord server. And it's been going for about maybe 2 months, a month and a half, 2 months. And it's all just recently been rebranded, and it's called Beyond the Veil. And we just launched our first newsletter today from our official account. So that was quite exciting.
All right. Well, that's really cool. And of course, if people have questions for you, certainly they can ask in the chat right now. If anybody does have questions, feel free to chime in here. And what is this project about that we just shared?
Beyond the Veil is a community for those who have an interest in either spiritual or supernatural aspect. So why we called it Beyond the Veil is we were looking for something that we thought would complement the two together, because we believe that it should go side by side, hand in hand. And I came up with the idea that Steemit hasn't really got an official community for people, with that kind of interest. So it's really good because it's very versatile. So it could be anything from somebody with an interest in Wicca, who's into herbs and Sabbats and etc., all the way up to a UFO conspiracist. So somebody who might have an interest in aliens and government conspiracies would come under Beyond the Veil as well. So it's anything kind of strange and wonderful and, unexplainable would be under Beyond the Veil. So we've set a solid foundation, or what we believe is a solid foundation. And we're really excited. We've got about 30 members now, and it's an open book, and we're really excited about the future.
Well, that sounds
And is there a
interesting.
Discord? Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead, Snekky.
Is there a Discord channel as well for members?
There is a Discord channel as well, Snekky. I'm surprised you're not a member of it yet.
Yeah, me too. Can you please share the link?
Yeah, give me 2 seconds. I'll get that link.
That would be perfect.
And we are visiting with Crazy BG Adventure today on the show. And I don't know if you want to share, but somebody has asked if you want to share the story about that username at all.
Yeah, not a problem. I don't mind doing that at all.
All right.
I always wonder what's beyond the names.
Okay, the reason my name is Crazy BG Adventure is, to cut a long story short, as you can probably tell by my accent, I'm not originally from Bulgaria. I'm originally from the UK. I come from a city called Newcastle upon Tyne, and I moved to Bulgaria just over a year ago. And the reason I call myself Crazy BG Adventure is because I decided one day to put my house on the market, and I sold my house, bought a house over here outright at 38 years old, and life's one big adventure. So it's crazy because of what I did. BG, Bulgaria for where I am, and what I'm living now, which is one big adventure. And that's where my name came from.
Well, that's really cool. It's fun to hear the backgrounds for different people's usernames. I think that's really cool. So, yeah, I remember that now. I remember when we first talked the first time you were on the show last year, you were kind of still in the middle of all of that.
Yeah, things are a bit more hectic than what they are now. With even though they are still hectic, but a different kind of hectic. But it's a lot better than where it was. I mean, it was funny when you were talking about languages before, because I speak 2 languages now. I speak Bulgarian, I speak English. But I spoke to speak Bulgarian a year ago. I probably could have got away with hello and goodbye.
Well, it's always
How
cool.
do you? Oh,
Go ahead, Snekky.
I keep interrupting you. How do you say hello in is it Bulgarians?
Yeah, there's 3 greetings. So the formal is dobar den. Then there is the informal, which is zdravi, or you can say drasti. So there's a couple of different ways in which you can say it. Normally, if it's to the people you'll know, you'll say, well, Rondon's just put on the translation, which that translates as stravete, which is plural. If you say it to one person, you say strave. If you say it to more than one, it's stravete. And then, but commonly we'll just say drasti.
Languages are fascinating.
Yes, I agree.
Now, Snekky, I didn't mean to cut you off. I know you hadn't been feeling so well, so I'm happy you're here and you're talking with us. So feel free to jump in anytime.
Yeah, no problem. I'm still alive.
Good. And if anybody does have more questions for Crazy BG Adventure, feel free to ask those in the chat. It's always fun to hear the different audience questions. Or Snekky, if you have questions at all, feel free to chime in.
The link you shared to the Discord server gets me to Discord itself. So.
Oh yes, yeah, I just noticed that too.
Okay, let me correct that. 1 second.
Take your time.
M1, that's a good GIF. I like that.
Oh yes, me too.
You are listening to the Steem Radio Show here on MSPWaves Radio with Main Event and Poetic Snake.
That's me.
And we're interviewing Crazy BG Adventure here tonight. There we go. That's the link to the Discord.
Yes, thank you.
So
no problem.
So if that's something you're interested in, you can check that out. Now, what are some other things that you maybe have planned, or do you want to give any shout-outs to any other Steemians or anything like that while we have you here on the show?
Yeah, let's have a think. I mean, I want to give a couple of shout-outs because the reason I want to give a shout-outs to the people is because they've really helped me in the last... Oh my God, we're in May thinking about it. So let's say the last 5 months. And I've came such a long way since January with a lot of things, with my networking, with my writing, with my formatting, with my paragraphing. And it's with thanks to the likes of Shadows Pub, Enchanted Spirit, Cat Weasel, the guys at the Steam Engine. They were so supportive. because of an issue I had a few months ago. They were amazing, absolutely amazing people. And to all the guys as well at the Alliance as well, who really also made me feel welcome, and Top K-pop, who also kind of took me under her wing and helped me out a lot as well. Oh, and to Pensive, because Pensive, when he started his radio show, he kept going, "Are you going to come on my show? Are you going to come on my show?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's just really late when I'm going to go on." And every week, "Are you going to come on my show?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then eventually I did go on his show. So thanks, Pensive, because it was really, I loved it.
Absolutely. Shout out to Pensive. Yes, that show's become very popular, so great work there, Pensive. And let's see. Any other questions here for Crazy BG Adventure?
I have a question.
Okay.
Yeah, I know there are rumors. I heard rumors that you are doing a radio show as well.
I am, yes. I am.
Would you mind telling us a little bit about it?
Of course. And before I do Pensive, of course, I would be honoured to come on your show again. Make sure to DM me and we'll catch up about that, not a problem. But I do run a radio show over on Steem Star Network. It's at Mondays at 6 p.m. UTC, and it's called Crazy for Steam. And basically, the show is a show where you can learn anything and everything that you need to about Steam. So we'll look at what I've done is I've broken it up into segments. So, and I've given the segments catchy names. So the last show we did dynamic about Discord, how Discord plays an important role in the Steemit community, how it can be effective to use, how you should be using it, how you shouldn't be using it. The next segment I'm doing is new to networking. So we're going to look at things like why networking is important, how to network if you're a bit of a wallflower, if you're a bit shy, what you can get out of networking, what is networking, all that kind of things. So we're basically broken it down into different segments. So it's all bite size. And, obviously, if you've been here for a lot longer, you might not get as much out of it as somebody new. But, I welcome anybody and everybody. But it would be great if we could get some new people as well, because it gives them the opportunity to ask questions and it gives me the opportunity to try and help these people.
Well, that's really awesome. Helping people is always good. We were talking about that earlier, how there's just this underlying culture of helping people on the Steem blockchain and in the community, and that's really great to see.
Absolutely. I mean, it's funny that one person I forgot to miss out, which I forgot to miss. Sorry, I forgot about and I missed out on. And if anybody wouldn't mind checking this guy out, because there's a bit of a story behind it. And what happened was a couple of weeks ago, I'm in over probably close to 40 Discord servers now. And I happened to find my way into Steam Cleaners the other day, or the other week, I should say. And I went into the abuse room because I'm naturally nosy and I like to see what people are complaining about. And a guy came up and he had been flagged for plagiarism. And he asked what the problem was, and he was told, "Oh, you've plagiarized, you've been flagged, you just need to follow the notes." And he's like, "But what have I been flagged for?" And I realized the guy didn't have a clue, and I knew that the Steam Cleaners had a hard enough job as it was with all the work that they've got to do, so they were limited for time. So I took the initiative and said, "Look, if you want me to show you what you should be doing and how to cite your sources, etc., feel free to give me a DM." And the guy's called Young Boss, YOUNGBOSS. And what I've done is I've took him under my wing and I'm mentoring him now. And as a result of his attitude and doing what he's meant to, something that's not done very commonly, but Steam Cleaners took off every flag bar 4 of his posts because he made the commitment to make the change, and he's doing an amazing job, and he's very much worthwhile checking out, and just to be welcomed into the community, because he's a guy who he's from Nigeria, he genuinely wants to learn, he's doing an amazing job, and as a result of that, today Steam Cleaners have now given me a new role of counsellor. So anybody who comes in and who's on review, I'll now I've put my neck out on the line and said, look, if anybody wants my help, I'm willing to help them. So I've been given a new role today in the Steam Cleaners.
Someone's asking if you want to just kind of mention what Steam Cleaners is.
So what Steam Cleaners are is it's run by Patrice. And what they're there to do on the platform is to protect your work. So let's say, for instance, that you write a really good post, you've done a lot of research about it, and then all of a sudden you've used all your own pictures, you've spent a long time on your post, and someone comes along, copies and pastes that and puts it as their own. So that would be an act of copywriting, plagiarism. So Steam Cleaners will pick up on the likes of this, although they can't do it with every post, but they do try the hardest. And what they'll do is they'll flag the post and they'll put a comment underneath and say, this post has been flagged because of X, Y, Z. To review it, please come to our Discord channel. And so they give the person the opportunity to come to the Discord channel in which to try and sort it out. So they're there basically as kind of a means to try and protect people who have original work on the platform and also on the web. So they do the same. So if somebody comes along on a website and they say, oh, that looks like a good article, I might make myself a couple of SPD off it, I'll copy and paste it. Steam Cleaners can pick up on it and then they'll do exactly the same. So it's just all around, to try and keep the originality of everybody's work.
Yep, and things like that are a good thing because, as many people are commenting in the chat, plagiarism is not accepted anywhere around the world. I mean, you can't just copy people's work and call it your own. I mean, you just can't do it. It's so don't even think about it. We don't condone it.
Nope.
Absolutely. I just want to add one more thing as well. Sorry, that if you do happen to come across any work that has been plagiarized as well, you can report it to them. Now, I can't say this to be absolutely definite, but I know that Steam Cleaners have given small rewards as well to people who report plagiarism. So it is encouraged that if you do see work that has been plagiarized, belonging to somebody else, if you report it to Steam Cleaners, there is a chance that you might be rewarded.
Well, that's pretty cool. So yeah, if people want to look into Steam Cleaners a little more, of course, like he said, like we were saying there, that it may not be the case, so do your own research on that, of course. Don't hold us to it, but check them out if you're interested. It's at Steam Cleaners on Steemit.
Yeah, and they can also be contacted on steemit.chat.
Yes. Well, that's pretty interesting. It's cool to see that those types of things are still going. I hadn't heard anything about Steam Cleaners in a little while, so it's cool to see that that's still going on.
Yeah, it's still absolutely going on, but I know that they have a lot of work. I mean, last night I think Patrice was going through like 500 reports to do with plagiarism. So that's like kind of an extent to some of the work they've gone. So they're trying to do the hardest, to protect everybody. But obviously we've got that many people on the platform now, and it's such a small team that they just can't do everyone, which is why they rely as well on the community in which to report it as well. So, which is why I say, if you do happen to see anything like that and you report it, I can't guarantee it, but there might be a chance that you could get a small reward.
Plus, you're just helping out authors as well. You would want someone to help you out in that situation. So, if you see something that's blatant plagiarism or whatnot, yeah, certainly let them know.
Absolutely.
Again, we are visiting today with Crazy BG Adventure. Snekky just shared the link to your blog there in the chat. And if anybody else has any more questions for them, certainly let us know. And was there any other things you wanted to talk about here while you're here, Crazy BG Adventure? Or you did quite a few shout-outs there. I didn't know if you had any other projects or upcoming blog posts that you might be working on or things like that.
Oh my goodness, no, I couldn't possibly do anything else on top of what I'm doing at the moment. Unless the thing is, there is other initiatives that I'm kind of part of. I can't really tell you because it belongs to Dream Steam, and it's up to her to promote it. Actually, what I'll do is I'll be telling Dream Steam about getting in touch with you guys anyway. But there's a couple, and the main thing that I just want to say is the more active that you are out there in the community, the more you get seen. Just don't do what I do, because I have a habit of not being able to say no. So then people come over and say, do you want to try this? I'll go, yeah. And then I'll go, oh my God, I've got all this stuff, and then I've just entered myself into this. But in all honesty, it's not a big deal. It's cool. I love it. I think the community is great. I've learned a lot. I did a post. I mean, I don't want to say this because I'm not normally a negative person. I'm very much on a positive. But I did a post the other week about the whole Grumpy Cat scenario. And I wrote the post. I mean, to be honest, it was a big deal for me because I wrote the post. I was so nervous about writing it. And all I did was I just wrote a post with the facts, with everything that had been going on. And I literally said in the post, you can't lie about facts. And I supported everything with evidence and put everything on. And believe it or not, outside of Curie, it's the highest paid post that I've had. And that's because Mad Puppy had upvoted the post.
Yeah, I mean, there's always lots of things happening out there that, are somewhat controversial and things like that. But, it's like one of those things, they're going to happen out there, and people are going to just do what they're going to do. And so we got to try as individuals here on the platform to just focus on the content that we're creating and the people we're trying to help, and try to be positive influences here is my opinion on it. It is a shame to see projects and things that aren't really that way, but that's the kind of the yin to the yang. There's going to be good and bad sometimes. So that's unfortunately that's just how things go. But are you a gamer, Crazy BG Adventure? People are asking about games here in the chat. So are you interested in games and things like that?
I'm not a major gamer. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't like them, but actually, I've just noticed as well that I forgot to mention I see M7 in the list, aka Sim Girl, and I've got such a huge thanks to give her, because you need to check out her post. By the way, she did it. She's immortalized me in The Sims, so I'm now on The Sims 4. Which I don't play any games at the moment, but if I was, it would be The Sims. And she immortalized me today, and she made me my own authentic GIF, I never know what to say, which I'm now going to put on as my signature, which my signature is changing the world one day at a time. And she did a great job, so I'm over the moon.
Well, that's pretty cool. Any more questions here for our guest today, Crazy BG Adventure? Snekky, did you have any other questions or anything like that? Are you still here, Snekky?
Yes, I'm still here. Sorry. Do you love tater tots too?
I don't even know if I know what tater tots are. If I think about it, I think it might be like soft potato wrapped in breadcrumbs or something.
Yeah, they're basically just little cubed potatoes that are, fried or baked. Yeah, they're pretty good.
Ah, okay.
We're back to the food.
Yeah, back on the food again. Yeah. What's your favorite food, Crazy BG Adventure?
Oh my goodness, it's so hard to say. I mean, one of my, well, it's not my favorite, but one of my most favorites is, I'm so fortunate where I live now because I've got a lot more access to different cultures than what I had when I was just in England. And we go to Serbia a lot, and Serbia has fantastic food, I really have to say. And one of the dishes they do is a dish called kaimak, which is just like butter, but it's butter like you've never tasted before. And they bring over this fresh bread, and it's really crisp with sesame seeds on. And you cut into it, and you put the kaimak on, and then you just get like little pieces of courgette, or the Americans call it zucchini. And oh my God, it's just amazing. I mean, I could just sit with a plate of that bread in the kaimak and eat that on its own because it's fabulous.
Well, that's cool to hear. Let's see here. Any more questions from the live audience? Everybody's getting hungry. We just keep talking about food.
Yeah, it's that kind of day.
It's all right. It's a change up from what we usually talk about. So it's talking about something a little different. I like that. And I like food, so what's wrong with that?
There can't be anything wrong with food.
No, definitely not. Apart from, I mean, it's widely available here, but everything's really simple in Bulgaria. So it's like if you go out to eat, and it would be like you'd have a chicken steak or a pork steak with salad and potatoes and things like that. So it's nothing, nothing extraordinary special, but it's really good at the same time. And where I live, I mean, we have McDonald's and things in the country, but there is no McDonald's where I live. There's no Burger King where I live. There's no KFC where I live. They're all in Sofia, like 3 hours away from me. And I have to make do with the other restaurants. But you know what? The food is just amazing from there. It's really simple, but it's so flavorful and delicious. It's fabulous.
Somebody was asking what you liked most about Bulgaria, or maybe what drove you to want to be there.
Probably the weather, I would say. I mean, it's going to be, it'll always be that, the United Kingdom's the butt of the joke when it comes to the weather. And it reads 365 days of the year in the United Kingdom, which is pretty not far from the truth. They have like normally a week of summer, and the rest of the year is cold. Here, I've just been through a winter here, and the winters are very, very cold. They can get down to -40 Celsius. So I don't know, and probably -100 Fahrenheit. But the good thing is as soon as winter leaves, there's no in between. It just goes straight up into really lovely warm sunshine, and they have proper seasons, and the weather here is fabulous. It's really incomparable. And, I spend about 10 months of the year in shorts, 2 months of the year in warm clothing. I can't argue with that.
No, definitely not. Grim was astonished in the chat about the temperature. Yeah, that's pretty cold. That's pretty wild. I get 40 below Fahrenheit sometimes where I am, but definitely not 40 below Celsius.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't as bad this year. It got to -25. So I don't know, maybe close to about -50. The worst was I woke up one morning and I opened the door to let the dog out, and there was 8 foot of snow outside the door. And I had to literally shovel the snow I had to shovel a path to let the dog out because the dogs just couldn't get out. That was a bit of an adventure.
Well, the name suits you then.
Yeah, definitely. But equally, the winters are beautiful. I mean, you can get the snow on the ground, but when you've got a really crisp, clear day with no clouds and the sun shining, you can sit out there in a t-shirt in the snow and it feels warm. Doesn't feel cold at all. And that could be like -7.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad that spring is here and summer is on its way. I'm ready for some warm weather, so absolutely. Well, everybody, we're visiting today with Crazy BG Adventure, and we've got a few more minutes here that we can chat. Any last-minute questions here? Or if Crazy BG Adventure, if there was any other things you wanted to just kind of mention before we say goodbye today.
No, I don't think that there's anything. I mean, I think the last thing I just really want to say to people is a word of advice. Because I do see that some people are a bit afraid about things that they can post and what they should be posting. And my advice is, if you're going to post something and you wanna get your point across, as long as you post and you can present the facts and you have the evidence to prove it, then you should never ever be scared about posting. And I would recommend as well that if you haven't seen the white paper for a while, is to go and read it, because as part of the white paper says that Steemit is an experiment, and let's not forget that it is about freedom of speech as well. So never be scared of posting, and if you've got the facts to back you up, even better.
Yeah, it's a wild west out there here on the Steem blockchain. It's there's a lot of different opinions, different cultures, different ways of doing things here. There's no one or two ways to do this here. Everybody's going to have a different experience, and it's truly amazing to see the ride that we're all taking here and the connections we're all making. It's truly fascinating. So. It's certainly wonderful to have you here with us, Crazy BG Adventure. And Poetic Snake, did you want to add anything here?
Yes, I wanted to say thank you for being on the show. You're really a sporty person, and I enjoyed listening to your story and your projects. And I'm looking forward to see what you come up with.
No problem. You're welcome. It was quite funny as well, because I said to Snekky the other day, I was like, Snekky, if you're looking for people, you know, I'm quite happy to come out. Just like, yes. Oh my God, yes.
Yes, I wanted to have you on, so I was very excited when I saw that. So.
All right. Well, Crazy BG Adventure, any final parting words to the audience here? Do you want to say goodbye?
Yeah, just thank you very much, everybody, for taking the opportunity to listen. Thank you for allowing me to come on the show. It's almost 3 a.m. here, but it was worth the wait. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you so much, guys.
We certainly appreciate it. Thank you so much to Crazy BG Adventure joining us on the show today. The Steemit blog has been posted in the chat, so certainly check it out if you're interested. And that was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
So we went to South Africa today. And where else did we go? To Bulgaria. You're in the Netherlands. And I'm over here in the United States.
4 countries, 1 show.
I know. How do we do it, right?
Yeah. We should be time travelers.
Something at least, but certainly wonderful having you all here with us. It is the Steem Radio Show with Main Event and Poetic Snake.
That's me.
And we've got about 16 minutes here left of the show, so we'll just kind of take these last few minutes here to chat with the live audience here. And we always want to mention to the live audience that if you're ever looking for another tag for your posts, feel free to use the Steem Radio tag. That's a tag that Snekky and I are kind of keeping an eye on and seeing what people are tagging in there. And, you know, there's no guarantees of upvotes or anything like that, but it's just a tag that we're going to try to keep an eye on for the listeners of the show. So, you know, if you've got a bunch of different tags you can use on your posts, so if you need a fifth one at the end, feel free to add Steem Radio. And Poetic Snake and I will try to keep an eye on that.
Yes, because we're both curators and we enjoy doing that. So if you're looking for a tag, you can use it.
Absolutely. Poetics and Snake and I are both very active curators on the platform. We both curate for OCD. We both curate just on our own and with other projects and things. So we'll certainly try to keep an eye on that tag, but feel free to use it. It's again Steem Radio, the tag, all one word.
I hope I spelled it right this time.
Yes, you did.
Yay!
But that's just something we kind of mention here on the show to our live audience. So, I'm hoping most of the people using that tag are people that actually listen to the show. And, of course, we always appreciate a shout out of the show or something, too. If you feel like throwing that in there, too, it's always awesome. It's wonderful to get more people here listening and hearing all these different Steem stories and learning about the different projects and things that all of you are creating. It's really fascinating.
Yeah, to me as well.
And as we mentioned earlier in the show, if you're interested in being a live guest, you certainly can. Just send myself, Main Event, or Poetic Snake a message on Discord. You can leave a comment on one of our posts. However you're able to reach us, just get a hold of us and we'll try to have you on the show sometime.
Yes, we don't bite.
Just require you to be, we do have to have English speaking at this point. There may be other shows out there that are doing multiple languages, but as of right now, this is an English show, and you, of course, need voice chat capabilities. So we typically use Discord for our voice chats. So shout out to Discord for providing a wonderful service there. It's certainly very helpful, and we'd be happy to have you on the show.
Yes.
And, each and every week, as I mentioned, I do share the full audio of the show right on my blog. So if you're interested and if you missed part of this show or if you want to go back and hear a previous episode, feel free to check it out on my blog. And Snekky, do you have anything that you've been working on that you want to share with the audience?
Well, I have been painting my weapons, like Artemis Nord likes to call them, my creative weapons. I've been painting on stones a lot and sharing that. And next to that, it was a very happy week because I finally won and I finally have, well, I have it yet, but I'm getting it, a silver Steem round. I entered a competition for our Hudson shots from Johnny Clearwater, and I won. So it's a happy week.
That's really awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to taking lots of pictures with that Steem round. And my stones.
Yeah, the stones are really cool. They're very beautiful, and multiple people in the audience chat think so as well, so great job on those.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really fun to make them as well.
Oh, yeah, there's a good picture. Yep. I like that one a lot. That one's really cool.
Yeah, it's happy and it's laying right in front of me, to be honest.
So again, you can find her blog on Steemit. It's at Poetic Snake, all one word. Certainly check it out.
Thank you. And what have you been up to?
What have I been up to? I've been doing more DJing lately, getting into my summer season, so it's going to be like proms and weddings and class reunions and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to try to start sharing some gig logs from those events. They're kind of fun. And I'm going to be doing a lot more photography and vlogging starting very soon because the weather is finally getting warm here. The snow is almost all melted. There's still a little bit in the woods and stuff, but it's mostly gone now. So I want to get outside with my new camera. I got a new video camera, so I want to start creating a lot more content and sharing that very soon.
But if you start vlogging again, how can you vlog without ice fishing?
Well, I can do some summer fishing maybe.
Oh, yeah. That's an opportunity. Yes, absolutely.
Yes, so I'm excited for that. So I'll be doing lots more outdoor related content coming soon. We're also going to be starting up doing some more live streams. I want to start doing just some kind of general discussions with the community here on Steem and just kind of let people come on and, if you want to ask basic questions, if you're somebody that's brand new, let's say, and you don't even know how to format a post or something like that, you can certainly jump on and just talk with us. We are not experts, of course, of anything, but, we can try to point you in the right direction to some information or something like that. So keep an eye on my blog, and we'll try to do some live streams soon. I also do some gaming live streams once in a while as well.
Yeah, I enjoy watching those.
It is fun because actually we've got a pretty good group now of 4 or 5 Steemians. We all kind of play together and things, so it is kind of fun when we do the live streams, and we've got 3 or 4 people from the Steem community all gaming together in the same party and things. So that is kind of fun.
I like it when you jump out of a plane.
Yes, those games are a lot of fun.
Yes, I also like it when you stream your the older games. I don't know how you call that.
Yeah, the retro games. Yeah, that is a lot of fun too. Yeah, all the old school, old games. I like those a lot. Absolutely.
Yes.
But yes, you are listening to the Steem Radio show here with us on MSPWaves. And as we mentioned earlier in the show, certainly check out the full schedule of all the radio shows. There's so many different ones now. There's music shows, there's talk shows. I believe DJ Damashi and the Dancing Dreamers, I think, is still coming on after our show here next. You're on MSPWaves, so if you're listening live, there will be a show coming up next, I believe. If somebody can confirm that in the live audience for me.
Shake your hips.
But yeah, check out the full schedule, mspwaves.com. And there's lots of different shows on there you can check out. And they're different all the time. Rondon says yes. So DJ Damashi will be coming up next here on MSP Waves.
Is it Rondon now?
His name evolves. Let's see here. So we had some changes on Steemit today.
Oh, someone has a question. Oh, sorry.
Oh, we do?
Yes.
How do I feel about tofu? I'm not a big fan. But I'm not opposed to anyone who does want to eat it. So
tofu. I am a meat fan. Absolutely, but I love tofu if it's put in a nice burger with the right seasoning. I really enjoy tofu as well.
I've had it before, and yeah, if it's seasoned with some, like a sauce or something, I think I've had it like in stir fry in place of like chicken and things, and it's not too bad in something like that. I've had other soy products, but tofu is okay. I'm not bashing on it too much, but it's not my favorite.
I don't mind, really.
I'd rather eat bacon.
Oh, bacon. Don't get me started.
We have to mention bacon at least once every show.
Yes, bacon.
Yes. But yeah, so we did have one slight change on Steemit today. I don't know if it was today specifically, but I noticed a lot of people were freaking out earlier today because they were going to write a post, and the little box for your payout choice is now gone. And the little box to upvote your own post is also gone, which is interesting.
Oh, I'm checking that out right now, and yes, it's gone.
It's now under your settings. So if you click on your profile picture little menu, under settings now is where you choose. So you basically have to choose for all of your posts versus individually, which I don't know if I'm a huge fan of that, because there are some times where maybe you want to do just one post with no rewards or whatever. So you have to go in here and fix it each time. So if anybody hadn't seen that yet, that is something that was changed. And, again, we don't work for Steemit or anything like that, but it was a topic of discussion earlier today. I saw people say they took away the post payout split, and everybody was, talking about that. So
yeah, and if you scroll down, you also see your muted users.
Yeah. So is that new? That must be new too, huh?
Yeah, I never saw that before.
Okay. So see, there's always something, and it's funny because a lot of these changes seem to always happen on a day when we do our radio show. I remember when the profile background picture came out. That was the day that we were doing a radio show. So it was fun. We got to talk about it. So.
And also when the night vision and stuff.
Yes.
Was up. Also during a show.
Shout out to Steemit if you guys need someone to talk about these things. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, inbox us.
We'd be happy to have you on the show. But yeah, no. So I noticed that change today. But yeah, go under your settings menu now because there's some new things.
And yes, Seaman, you can upload a picture for your profile on Steemit.
Yes, that was the other thing that changed too. Before, I think you had to upload it somewhere else, or into a blog on Steemit or something, and then you just post the link. But now you can actually upload it directly, which is kind of cool.
It's a nice improvement, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I kind of wish they'd make it a little bigger. The
yes,
profile picture.
It's very small.
Yeah, they could put it off to the side maybe or something, and have
Not
it be
that
a
I
little
want
bigger.
my full face on the whole page or anything, but a little bit bigger.
And I'm sure it will continue to evolve and change and all these things. So, shout out for some cool improvements, I guess.
Yes, that's a nice tag.
All right, everybody. Well, we got just under 5 minutes left here. Again, we want to say thank you to all of you for tuning in to the Steem Radio Show. We're here each and every Wednesday night from 10 to midnight UTC time. That is 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What time is it in the Netherlands?
Almost 2 a.m., 5 minutes.
So it's midnight to 2 your time?
Yes.
And, of course, you can find us on MSPWaves.com, and you can find a whole bunch of the previous episodes, all of them, on my YouTube channel. It's just Main Event, spelled the same way. And all of the previous episodes are on there. And it's kind of fun to go back and listen to some of the old episodes from last year. I kind of consider last year to be kind of like the golden era of the early days of Steemit and the Steem blockchain. There was a fun vibe last summer when all those people were joining. I mean, I joined in May. June, July, August, that time frame was certainly a lot of fun, and it is cool to go back and listen to some of those old episodes.
I thought you were going to sing a song.
No.
The song about the months.
Oh, yes.
February month, that one. No?
Not tonight, no.
Oh.
We're running low on time, so Snekky, I'm going to play your disclaimer one more time here.
Okay. You are listening to the Steem Radio Show on MSP Waves. Everything you hear on this show is our opinion only and should not be taken as financial advice or advice of any kind. This show is strictly for entertainment purposes only. MSPWaves Radio and its owners take no responsibility for the opinions or statements made by the talk show host or their guests. Statements or show topics are not necessarily the beliefs of the radio station. The material on the Steem Radio Show is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research.
Very true.
Yes.
So like she said, this is all just our opinions. We are not financial experts at all. So got to do your own research. But we're happy to talk to you. We're happy to hear your Steem story and learn more about some of the different projects that you're working on and the communities that you're in. And we love hearing your shout-outs, too. So certainly let us know if you're interested in being a guest on the show.
Yes, and if you have anything you want to add to, you want to have us talk about, leave a comment on the post.
Absolutely. All right, Snekky, we are winding things down here. We got less than 2 minutes to go. Any final words here to say goodbye?
Well, we can run down the list very fast as a thank you for being here.
Go for it.
I see activist block. Aziz, Breeze, Grim, Jesse, M1, M3, M5, M7, Fenders, Fensive, Rindin, Robo Raver, Soundwaves Photon, Sayarosa, Stacy Jean, and that Sweeney guy, and of course C-Man369.
And of course,
Thank you all
everybody
for being with us.
Yes, absolutely. Of course, everybody who's also maybe listening on MSPWaves.com or however or if you're listening to the recording after the show, big thank you to all of you who tune into the show. We certainly appreciate it. And again, leave us some feedback on the show posts. I'll be putting that up right after this show is over tonight, so it should be up within a half an hour or so of the show ending. We, of course, always appreciate any re-steams and replies and things like that. And again, if you want to be on the show, just let us know. You are listening to the Steem Radio Show with Main Event and Poetic Snake. And we certainly appreciate all of you tuning in. We hope you'll join us next Wednesday night from 10 to midnight UTC time. Find the full schedule on MSPWaves.com, and if you haven't done so yet, check out the Minnow Support at Minnow Support on Steemit. This is the Steem Radio Show saying good night, everybody.